They be taking your own money and they be spending your money on the new supply. Hey guys, welcome to Life Beyond Narcissism. Today we're going to be diving into the intruding world of a narcissist and their spending habits, especially when it comes to the new supply. You're going to want to stick around for this one. If this is your first time hearing anything about narcissism or you're unsure what it is, narcissism is a personality disorder that's really characterized by a high sense of self, admiration, praise, all the attention is on me and I don't care about anybody else, right? They don't have empathy. They don't really care much about other people. It doesn't matter. They invalidate your feelings and make you feel less than yourself. It's when you hear me refer to the new supply, I'm really talking about the new person that the narcissist has targeted in order to be able to fulfill their emotional and psychological needs. But in order to reel you in and lure you in, they have to somehow appear as your knight in shining armor. Because they lack a sense of self, need you to make them feel good about themselves. They need you to validate them. They need you to be able to make them feel as if they're superior so that they could gain the control, which we'll get into that in another video. See, one thing about a narcissist, in the early stages, when they gotta get you in and get you hooked and get you lured in, or they're gonna go all out. Best believe it, because they gotta impress you. Think about it. They need to impress you. So they're gonna be spending lavish on dates. They're gonna be buying you expensive gifts. They're gonna shower you with time, because some of them don't have that type of money, but they'll save up that paycheck in order to showcase you. They're gonna show off and they're gonna be lavish with it and be spending money. And sometimes, y'all know, they be taking your own money and they be spending your money on the new supply. I don't want to trigger you. I don't want to get you upset, but I want to provide you with that information so you gonna know. Because the whole point is to make you feel special with these expensive gifts. You realize that financially, they're overindulging and spending so much money financially. So why are you spending all this money? Should be the question that we're asking, right? But if somebody's going to spend on you, it ain't tricking if you got it, right? So allow them to spend it, but be mindful. When it comes to that new supply, this is exactly how they lure them in, how they reel them in. And if you really think back, when you was a new supply, how did they got you? How did they do this thing, right? They were spending money and tricking on you in the beginning as well, too, to make you feel comfortable in order to let your guards down and to rely, this person got it. They'll be able to take care of me. They'll be able to do things for me. Pull your chair in. Let me share a story with you really quickly so you can get an understanding of what I mean by this when I talk about how they start spending lavish on a date. A friend of mine, let's just call her Sarah, just for argument's sake, right? She was dating someone who she thought was perfect at first. He would take her on expensive trips, lavish trips, spending a lot of money on her, buying her gifts, and will also pick up the tabs when they would go to expensive restaurants. Now, she thought she was living the dream. However, as time went on, she noticed that all this lavish stuff, all this expensive gifts and stuff, it came with an attachment. So they're not just doing something because they want to do it. There's always some strings attached to it. It's either you're going to give me something or I'm going to get something in return. So there's always making you feel bound to them so that you have to comply with their orders or their demands that they have. So it's never just because they want to do it. And even if you don't want to be with them after doing this, you don't have that type of choice with them, because this is a transactional thing. It's not so much genuine. But like I said, they shower you with that level of admiration in the beginning. So the more you get to know them, you're starting to realize that this is a transaction. This has some strings attached. This is either I'm going to do this or this is going to be the consequences. You're going to be able to tell these things as we go along. Over time, he started to control her decisions. We couldn't hang out like we used to. She would never want to go places. The simple little things that we would do, she wasn't able to do it. We would go to the gym a lot, exercise, and even go on our little girls' date. She couldn't do these things anymore because he was controlling it. As a girlfriend, you're going to be supportive of your friend. Girl, get it, sis, right? All right, she got a new man, so give them some space, give them some time, and you're being supportive of your friend. But you really notice a decline in her because she's not doing the things that she normally would do. Even the self-care to take care of herself, this man was controlling her decisions. He was controlling her behaviors and looking for admiration. So in return, she needed to validate him. Eventually, Sarah realized that this expensive spending, this lavish spending, and him taking up all her time was definitely a way for him to control her And she realized that this was definitely a manipulative tactic, and she didn't want to be a part of it no more. So I was really grateful that she was able to end it. It took a couple of months though, because this really happened pretty fast before they start to let the mask down and you start to see who they truly are. It took some time, but I was really happy that she was able to get out of it. But that's their ultimate goal, is for control, manipulate you, and to really make you feel like you're less than. We'll get into that in another video to know why the narcissist chose you and how they were able to pick you and to get control and manipulate you. So we'll get into that in a separate video. Living a dream, or so they think they're living a dream, but in reality, you've been with a narcissist before, so you know what it's like when you're with one of them. It's not just because you're dating them or because you're enjoying the time with them. It's gonna come with a consequence later on. But why are they doing this? So you might be asking yourself this question: why can't you just be sincere? Why can't you just be genuine and just be a normal person? Just do it because you truly want to do it, not because you want something else in return. Well, the true answer lies in the fact that they're seeking the validation and they want the admiration. So in order to gain control over you and for you to validate them, this is how they're doing it. So by spending all of this money on you and by lavishing and giving you all these gifts, that's really gonna be giving them that validation they need from the new supply. So the new supply has a role to play, and the new supply has a job to do, and it's really to validate them. So when they do this, just to impress you, to make you feel good, because in return, they're gonna be gaining control. And then it's gonna put you in that position so you continue to admire them. Because every time they do something for you, oh, thank you so much. Wow, this is nice. I like this. And you start to admire them. So that level of admiration, they love it. They live for that level of admiration. You're such a nice person. Oh, I like how you do this. And that's all it is, because that gives them that self-praise, that validation, that sense of self, and they feel better about themselves. Because without you admiring them, without you validating them, showering them with affection and all this attention that you're giving them back in return, they really don't feel that about themselves. They really don't feel like they're all this superior person that they claim to be, but the new supply plays a role, and that's the role really, is just to validate them. All this spending that they're doing, it's gonna catch up to them. So they taking your money, because remember I said that earlier, that this is something that they do, they take your money. So them taking your money to go spend on the new supply, it's gonna create that financial strain, it's gonna create that financial burden, and they're gonna be drained out and overwhelmed. So you're gonna start noticing that they're arguing with you, they're stressing you out. There's constant friction in the relationship, and you can't understand, why is this going on? You don't know where a lot of the money is going. Money is disappearing from your bank account, and you can't seem to figure out where's all this money going. That's because they're spending all this money on the new supply. But they have to somehow do it quickly to get them hooked, because all they need is that validation. The new supply, you really start feeling like you're obligated to this person. It makes you feel like you have to do it. You got to be committed to staying with the person. And as a matter of fact, it does create codependency. So you're not only feeling obligated, it's like a crutch that you get to hook onto this person and you become codependent. And once they know that you're dependent on them, it's an easy way for them to control you, because now they control your emotions. Because if they give you something, they get a reaction back in return. If you do something for them, they get the validation. So it becomes that type of transactional thing with the narcissist, but their whole thing is to gain control the entire time. So yes, it's gonna put a financial burden on them. It's gonna put a financial strain on them. It's gonna put a hole into their pocket. Likewise, it's gonna put a hole into your pocket too, if you're living with this narcissistic person still. So it comes from both sides. Either you're living with them or they're spending their own money, but regardless, it's gonna be a financial burden. The new supply, observe these patterns. I list quite a few patterns earlier that you're going to start learning from these things to be able to recognize when a narcissistic person is around, because they're doing all these excessive things, and it's in a short period of time that they're doing it that makes it so alarming that you need to pay attention to. Once you understand that this is how a narcissist works, where they do all these lavish things, this excessive spending, splurging, and throwing money away, that's what it seems like, they're just throwing money away. Once you start to learn these dynamics of how they operate and how they spend these money, you'll start to realize that that's not how it really goes in a relationship. A relationship should be more balanced. A relationship that is more healthy should be not about money, not about transaction. You know, it shouldn't be that you're spending lavish, excessive amount of money on me in order to gain my attention, in order to get me to like you. That's very manipulative, if you ask me. That's very disingenuous. That's not something that's sincere. And it makes you really stop to think and wonder and ask yourself these questions. Why is somebody doing all of these things without even getting to know me fully? Is this what they do? They lavish and spend money on people all the time when they meet them. So these are some of the things that you really want to pay attention to. And it's not about to point the finger at the new supply and be like, oh, they're going to find out. Oh, they're going to learn today. It's not about that. It's for you to be able to spot these things so that you can know if you're a new supply for somebody else as well too, because these are some of the things that happens with a new supply. A narcissist have their tactics and their traits. This is what they do all across the board. They're not going to stop just because they met you. You're nobody different from what they're accustomed to doing, because they do the same thing repeatedly. You're just a new supply to them. So you could get caught up in it too, but be able to spot these things and observe these type of behaviors and ask yourself some questions in the background, like, why is this person doing this? Like, okay, you do it, but how consistent is it? Like, you're just excessive. That's a bit excessive. Thank you guys for watching this video today. If you find this more insightful and you got some information from it, leave a comment below and let me know some of the experience that you've had with a narcissistic person, or some of the lavish dates that you have gone on. I want to hear about these lavish, extravagant dates, and what did you do about it? Did you stay, or did you find out that this was a controlling type of situation? So let me know in the comment section below so we can have more discussion about it, and throw up your questions and ask me questions, because I do respond to questions when I get them.